Okay. All right, let's get into the fucking juice pits. Let's get greasy, bro. So, aside from, me wearing this Akatsuki thing, we have got a drama to talk about today. And that drama is between Think Before You Sleep and Noah Samsen, with a woman named Illy Animation caught kind of in between a little bit, okay? So, here's the basic timeline of events, all right? I'm going to give you a quick speed run. Illy Animation is a woman who basically is like, picture Jaden Animations, okay? Very similar type vibe. Kind of, yeah, content focused on like more of a kid audience, or more of like a, I guess you could say like a safe space type audience. Except the thing is that she's like more frames herself as like a nerd or whatever, a bit of an outcast is the vibe that I get. I need to dial myself in because this is a lot to unpack, okay? I'm about to summarize approximately 2.5 hours worth of content, okay? But I'm going to do my best to do it justice. Now, our woman, Illy, okay, I believe her name is Alyssa. She basically started out by uploading this video called Perks of Being the Fat Kid, okay? This was 4 months ago, around December of last year, 2023. And yeah, I mean, the video came out. It was positively received. Her fans seemed, to not have a problem with it, whatever. And then about 2 months later, a channel by the name of Think Before You Sleep, who is a channel that's kind of, it reminds me a lot of Harmful Opinions, if you remember that guy, but it's basically, he doesn't really show his face. He basically just gives a very, I guess you could say, formalistic, like logic-based analysis or whatever with his voiceover. He like reacts to a clip, whatever, and then just kind of, gives his breakdown or his opinion. He uploads a video called A Fat Acceptance Cartoon, okay? That's right here. And so you can see basically the way that it's framed is effectively that this woman, Illy, her animation was giving, I would say, his claim was that this animation was giving kids an impression that it doesn't matter what you eat. Your diet, you don't need to count calories. You don't need to, be too careful with what you eat. Basically, he was framing it as though this woman was giving really bad advice to kids, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a breakdown of both of their videos, okay? I'm going to go a little bit nerd mode, a little bit fucking nerd emoji, and kind of like react to both. But effectively, just taking that situation aside for a second, what then happens is that this Illy Animation woman hears from a friend of hers that this video by Think Before You Sleep is like super critical. It's like making her, it's making fun of her appearance, all this stuff. And the Illy Animation woman decides to post on her Tumblr page, which has like very minimal followers. But it's still, one of her legit social media sites. Basically, she decides to say, okay, I've reported this video and you guys should not watch this video and you should report it as well. Okay, she was basically equating Think Before You Sleep's video to harassment, okay? So yeah, this is Think Before You Sleep's initial community post about this, but it basically shows the screenshots of Illy, making these statements on Tumblr. Since his video went live, I've been getting hate comment bombed on my fat kid video, on other vids on my channel, as well as on Twitter and Insta, sad face. I submitted reports, but it takes a while for a human review at YouTube. I chatted with a help desk person today in the live chat help section, and she was very helpful. Unfortunately, I just have to sit tight. However, if you or anyone else reading this comes across this video, please report it for cyberbullying. Hopefully with enough reports from different people, it'll get taken care of sooner. And please do not send hate to him. It'll only make things worse. I just want this to be over. Somebody in her Tumblr basically asks, did you see this total creep who did a takedown of your fat kid animation? It's the exact sort of insane you'd expect from someone mad at the idea of weight isn't actually the only thing that matters in life. Her reply, yes, sad face. I didn't watch it. A friend did though and gave me a rundown. I advise others not to watch the video or his channel either. Do not engage. Don't give him a single second of watch time or ad revenue. And so basically, the way that this was interpreted by Think Before You Sleep was that this was an attempt by Illy Animation to corral support to mass flag his channel, right? To report that video. And eventually, obviously, the goal of that would be to get a strike on his channel, get the video removed, and yeah, his like, consequences would be reflected on his channel, right? Now, what happens after that? Well, Think Before You Sleep releases a video called Woke YouTuber is Trying to Deplatform Me. Okay? Now, this video got almost 1 million views, made the rounds. I remembered seeing it in my recommended, even though I don't watch Think Before You Sleep. And it's a cool thumbnail and whatever. But yeah, this is basically what ends up happening, okay? And so, he frames it as like, this person is trying to deplatform me, okay? She's trying to ruin my livelihood, all this. He definitely paints it in a way that is more extreme than how she states it, you know what I mean? Where it's like, she wasn't doing like a real, campaign to deplatform him. But yes, in reality, it's clear, even if this was like a private Discord or whatever, in the commentary community, this shit just doesn't fly, you know what I mean? And I think, to be honest, I think that's usually for good reason, just because, if Illy is admitting to not having watched the video, right, because that's what she said, that a friend basically interpreted it for her, and that she is encouraging people to not watch it, well, she's basing it, she's basically saying this is cyberbullying because his fans are coming after me, right? Yeah, I mean, you should probably watch the video to determine if it's actually cyberbullying. But obviously, Illymation is not like a commentary YouTuber. She's not somebody who really probably ever has to engage with this side of the internet, whatever. However, after this video was made by Think Before You Sleep, tragically, some fucking idiots in Think Before You Sleep's audience, despite obviously Think Before You Sleep not fucking like calling this on, but effectively some fucking forum decided to dox Illy, and she basically apparently had to move out of her apartment, cancel a 10K lease or some shit, basically fucked up her life for a bit because she was getting death threats, all this stuff. And what ends up happening, Think Before You Sleep uploads another video about it, basically talking about the friend who informed Illy about all this. That video doesn't really matter too much to me. However, after all this time, Noah Samsen comes out and releases this video titled Think Before You Dox, okay? Now, here's the weird thing about this drama, okay? I don't know how to put this without really walking everything through, but this is me giving you an overview before I get nice and nerdy, okay? Noah Samsen does have a pretty good, rebuttal or response to Think Before You Sleep, okay? He does point out some things that definitely make me, raise an eyebrow, whatever. The part that I'm skeptical about, and that most of the commentary community, is up in arms and very, skeptical about, which they should be, is that Noah doesn't actually seem to kind of push back at all toward Illy, or like the idea that, this video was cyberbullying or harassment. And although he does not state that Think Before You Sleep doxed Illy, he kind of does spell out that she was doxed due to the, cascading effects of the way that Think Before You Sleep framed his video, right? He used sensationalized language, all this shit. And yeah, at the end of the day, this is something that we're going to get, again, nerdy about, but I am always extremely skeptical of bringing in the teacher, YouTube, whatever, to mediate these kinds of situations. However, as a result of Noah's video, most likely, Think Before You Sleep's video on Illymation was taken down by YouTube and then eventually restored, surprisingly. Probably because, yes, he doesn't, verbatim, he doesn't break like the community guidelines. It seems pretty obviously within YouTube's guidelines. And then, finally, Think Before You Lie was uploaded by Noah Samsen, which, again, we are going to slightly touch on. There's a lot to go over, but effectively, this is Noah preemptively responding to Think Before You Sleep's forum post, okay, about Noah's video, right? And so, yeah, basically Noah, Think Before You Sleep released a community post going through and fucking explaining, some of the bullshit in Noah's video, or some of the alleged bullshit, whatever you would say. And yeah, I mean, Noah just responded to it. He was like, okay, fuck you. Before you make a fucking 10-hour video about this, let me just respond to it. So that's pretty much where we are at, okay? Basically, it's a little bit of a mess, okay? Now, let's properly unpack this mess. Let's fucking see how we feel about it, okay? Let's provide our own opinions. And yeah, doxing is illegal, Michael Kunn claims. I've seen a lot of people saying that it actually isn't. It does, I think, depend on where you live, but apparently in the U.S. it's not illegal, right? Because it's like a free speech kind of thing, right? If you're just using technically publicly available knowledge. Yeah, I don't think that just post. I'm not pro doxing. I'm not, but I don't think it's illegal, right? So it's tough. It's tough to I guess legislate or whatever. But let's start with Illy's original video. Okay, this is something that is gonna. I mean, look, I'm not gonna cap her. In my opinion, her video wasn't that fucking outrageous. Okay. It's just not. Like, this is very typical shit that I would expect to see on a kid's channel, more or less. He is correct. Think Before You Sleep is correct that the video is ideological, right? But that's everything. That's a lot of fucking things. But anyway, let's break it down though. So the perks of being a fat kid. Basically, it's framed initially. She tells a story about when she was a kid. She dealt with, being mocked for being fat. Okay.
Hi, my name is Alyssa.
Wait up. Sorry, Alyssa. She dealt with, the kind of slight discrimination that would occur because of that, basically. Like, teachers, she describes, like, teachers treating her worse than thin kids, right? So this is, like, kind of her building a framework of, like, there is kind of systemic fucking discrimination that goes on toward fat kids, specifically. Yeah, I mean, the framing of the video is it is like one of these kind of self-love things where it's like, hey man, you shouldn't hate yourself just because everyone in the world outside is telling you to hate yourself. And in my mind, it does come off pretty wholesome, but we'll walk through it here. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so basically, yes, she goes over being picked on. She shows like receipts, which is crazy, from when she was like fucking 11 years old getting picked on for being chubby. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the vibe of the video, is her talking about her experience, and then now, like, her experience when she was a kid, and then her experience now that she's an adult, okay? And throughout the story of the animation, she has these like devil's advocate characters that honestly, like, it's funny because they basically say they kind of pre-say what some of the stuff that Think Before You Sleep ends up saying. But here we go, let's watch.
Hanging out with their friends and seeing the Timothy Chalamet Willy Wonka movie.
So her argument here is basically that kids should not need to be calorie counting. They shouldn't need to stress about their diet. And all this.
Counting calories? Why are kids so body conscious? Why are they getting bullied? Who is teaching them this? Well, we all are, whether we realize it or not.
Right. So, something that's interesting, in Think Before You Sleep's video, he uses a lot of the art, right? Like the depictions that Illy draws, right? So like an example like this, Frappuccino. He uses a lot of this as like a grounds for criticism, which is really interesting. It's a little bit nerd emoji to read into this shit too deeply, but we'll get into that. Let's see.
It's called diet culture. According to self.com, diet culture is an entire belief system that associates food with morality and thinness with goodness. And it's rooted in the very colonial belief that every individual has full control and responsibility over their health. No. That is woke propaganda. Everyone knows being fat is unhealthy and anyone can lose weight by focusing on diet and exercise. Calories in, calories out. It is not that hard. Okay.
Right, so it's funny because her little character here actually does kind of summarize more or less Think Before You Sleep's basic angle, which is like, listen, lady, you are teaching fat acceptance to kids, and this can lead to them dying due to overeating and basically, fucking gorging themselves. You can ruin their lives, right? Obviously, at the end of the day, people do know that, being fucking... Yeah, see, here's the thing, right? Because I don't know what Think Before You Sleep's angle exactly is. I don't know what his experience is in life. But being thin does not equal, isn't always better. Now, he would agree with this too. I'm not saying anything crazy, but what I mean is like the goal should be to be active, right? Like I that would be my opinion at least. Like your goal should be to be active, right? And to eat healthy, okay? That would be more ideal, the lifestyle fucking change, whatever, than making it about, a part of your personality that like, oh, I'm fucking fat, this is fucking shit, whatever. What I'm basically saying is like, I'm not convinced that being thin is just like automatically an ideal or whatever, right? Like, there's people who are, appropriate weight, whatever, and yeah, I mean they're not healthy. Like they're not healthy at all, right? Graze out for blood. You could pick up cigarettes. Yeah, just do, bro. Just yo, you want to get a little tip? This is gonna instantly demonetize me. Okay, this is how much I care about you guys. That I'm giving you a pro tip, despite the fact that it's going to literally limit my ad revenue. You want to lose weight? Just smoke meth. It's not that hard. But anyway, this is the thing, right? Nobody's gonna fucking say, in reality, that being, overweight is a good thing or whatever. It's like a what would you say? Like it's a healthy whatever thing, right? Like, I'm talking morbid, right? Like morbidly obese, whatever you would say. In reality, and although I understand that in this video there is a little bit of leaning into that, where it's like it's fine if you're a little bit overweight, whatever. At the end of the day, people understand that if you're, whatever, morbidly obese or, genuinely obese, whatever, it's not like a fucking, a very healthy thing, like for your longevity, whatever. I agree with what Illy's saying, where it's like, you don't need to make this a moral thing, right? Like it's not like morally bad to be fat or morally good to be fucking skinny. But the fact of like, it can be unhealthy as fuck to be fat or whatever, and it can be obviously healthier to be skinny. That's kind of true, right? Now, I don't give a fuck if you're fat. And at the end of the day, I do think it matters more how you feel about it, right? And I understand that can be kind of shaped by the people around you, whatever. But in my mind, if you're going to venture to lose a bit of weight, that's cool, that's good. But you can absolutely be like chubby and be healthy. Like I'm just gonna put it like that. Like some of my best friends growing up were chubby kids. We didn't fucking bully them for it, but they were chubby kids. Like they were thick set fucking dwarf looking ass motherfuckers. I don't know what you call it. Ectomorph? No, endomorph. No. Whatever the fat one is. Thick set, you know what I mean? Some people do have the genetics where they just fucking put on weight so easily. It's crazy. And at the end of the day, like nowadays, right? Like my friends that were thick, they hit the gym, basically when they were young or whatever. And as they hit the gym, like this crazy shit happened where they just became fucking tanks. Do you understand? They just became absolute fucking units. And it's like, yeah, okay, he doesn't have abs. He doesn't have a six-pack, whatever. He's not fucking lean. He's not like that lean, but like you lean out just by kind of a consequence of working out and wanting to fucking eat the protein to build the muscle, right? Like that's kind of the relationship with going to the gym is, in my mind, you work out at the gym, whatever, and then because you think in your head like, oh fuck, I already worked out, I don't want to waste the workout, you eat protein that builds your muscle, right? Because again, if you don't eat protein after a workout, that's kind of a waste of a workout because your muscles need protein to fucking build. And then as a result of eating that protein, that's a much more satiating food than kind of emptier calories, right? Like whatever you would say, bread, sugar, whatever. These are kind of emptier calories that don't satiate, right? These are like calories that make you hungrier almost. You digest them really fast, whatever the fuck the science is. All this to say, basically, is that I don't think that her message is as radical as Think Before You Sleep frames it as, but there's definitely some shit that, like, I see why he's making his video. But yeah, let's let her fucking talk. I think I'm a little bit too in the mood to yap. Let me see what you guys are saying real quick. Good to see you. I'm back from my calculus-induced hibernation. Hell yeah, bro. I'm glad everyone's fucking lining up after going to school. Enough yapping, buddy. We know you looks, Max. Let's get to the videos. Okay, Isaac, thank you. That's actually exactly what I was looking for, bro. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm glad that works for your body, but here's how that went for me. At the end of 2022, I was nominated for a Streamy Award in the animation category. So I got to walk the Streamy's red carpet and attend the awards ceremony.
Okay, so this is something that Think Before You Sleep will bring up. Okay, we'll watch his fucking video. Who just bonked my head? Wait up. Kyle P Games, we love the yap. Never worry. Okay, thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying not to yap as much. Let's stick to the facts. Anyway, Gokanaru, by the way, check the part where she acknowledges medical restrictions / dietary restrictions, and Think Before You Sleep went out of his way to cut it out just to make her look bad and evil. Grays, thank you for that comment. I am well aware. I have now, so you guys might have seen, I talked to Tom about this. That was just me getting preliminary information. Now I'm fucking a scholar. Not really, but now I'm much better informed. I fucking rewatched the videos twice. I took notes, because I'm a nerd emoji, bro, and that's what we do out here, okay? The battle of ideas. Anyway. Seems YouTube really cut him off after that meth comment? Yo, Michael Kuhn, what are you talking about? Gokanaru, you're so talented, I don't care that you're Canadian. Much love from Texas. Thanks, it's just me. Thank you, bro. Think Before You Sleep said he cut that out for video retention. That's cap. That's just cap. That's cope. I don't know. We'll get to it. I know why he would cut that out, okay? The only good and research commentary streamer, we love our nerd Goka. Okay, let's relax on the glazing, okay? Because I'm already fucking yapping too much and saying shit too liberally, so let's stick to the notes, okay? Let's see. So I've got at 7:40, right? Okay, so I wanted to make a point of showing you this because it's funny because basically she does have a segment in this video that clearly outlines the grander benefits of going to the gym that aren't just weight loss, right? Because the basic story is that she goes to the gym to lose weight because she went to, an event, she wore a dress and she felt she looked fat in it. She didn't like how she looked. She didn't fit into it properly, whatever. And she was like, fuck, man, I'm this massive YouTuber and I look like shit. I'm going to go to the gym and lose weight. And she gets a personal trainer and basically, she works out for a month, doesn't see progress in the weight department, but she points out all this other, good shit that happens basically.
I was too far gone to be fixed. But my personal trainer assured me that I was doing great. I might not have seen the scale move or felt like my clothes fit better, but from her perspective, she noticed an improvement in my posture. She saw my energy and endurance had increased too. Even the way I talked about life, I was noticeably less stressed. And although I did agree with her, my back wasn't hurting as much, I was getting better sleep, and my mood did recover faster when shit did hit the fan. I told her thank you for the reassurance, but I still didn't like how I looked.
Right. So that's, I show you that just to kind of show you, she is not saying going to the gym is bad for you, right? Does that make sense? I just want to make that clear, because I was trying to understand what is the message she's sending here. And it's she's clearly not anti-gym or anti-working out, whatever. Specifically, though, she's just kind of being honest with the fact that, yeah, she went to the gym, but she didn't see a fucking improvement in her weight, right? As in, she didn't lose that much weight. She then goes on to describe basically she continues doing this for 3 months. She starts getting dizzy spells, and that you could interpret as her saying, like, going to the gym was actually a little bit unhealthy for me, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's pretty clear to me that she's not like shitting on the gym or whatever. She's just saying, like, for me, this might not be the way to, be happy or satisfied. Yeah, this is where she makes basically the claim that she, despite dieting, and apparently it was like a triggering diet. I don't really know what that means. I'm assuming it was just like no fucking like fun, I don't know. She doesn't get specific, basically, which is a criticism of Think Before You Sleep. Basically, she made no weight progress, which basically means, oh my god, I'm working out and I'm eating healthy and I'm not losing weight. What the fuck? So that's something that Think Before You Sleep ends up criticizing, but we'll get to that. But yeah, at 11 minutes, she makes another devil's advocate argument after doing basically a bunch. She basically said she did a bunch of tests. She wanted to see if there's anything wrong with her body, whatever, because she wasn't losing weight despite dieting and working out. And they didn't find anything wrong with her, right? Now, I don't know. There might be many fucking reasons that someone could have a hard time losing weight. Yes, genetic factors. Yes, hormonal factors. Medication, too. If you're taking fucking SSRIs, or if you're like... This is all stuff that can really fuck with your chemistry, right? Or your metabolism, all this shit. So, weight loss, I do sympathize. When it comes to weight loss, it's sometimes very confusing. However, the general rule, of calories in, calories out, usually does hold a decent amount of truth, right? But I understand it's a fucking pain in the ass to actually count your calories for a lot of people. But yeah, if that's your goal, usually that'll get you there. Okay, here we go. So this is where she gives the devil's advocate, basically, portion of this. And I'm going to let a lot of this play because this is kind of the meat and potatoes of her video. But yeah, here's the little devil coming in to give the contrarian opinion.
You need to be patient. Losing weight is a lifestyle change. You have to be serious and committed to it if you really want to lose weight. And you probably weren't losing weight because you weren't doing enough high-intensity interval training. No, she needs to be doing strength training if she wants to lose weight. No, she needs to eat more protein to lose weight. Actually, someone with her BMI should probably lose weight by...
No. You guys are missing the point. I'm sure there's some other workout routine I could do to lose weight. I know if I cut out some major food groups and restricted myself to a specific number of something every meal, I could lose weight. And I don't doubt the fact that there could be 1,000,001 tests and medical possibilities to explain why my body and so many others have such a difficult time losing weight. Maybe there's some diagnosis we overlooked. Maybe there's a different way I should be doing this. Or maybe, just maybe, this was proof that all the workouts I was doing was enough. Maybe this was proof that all my body really needed was a little more stretching, a little more strength, and a nice walk every now and then to make me feel better. And maybe, as weird as it may sound, maybe this was proof that my body and other people's bodies don't need to be less fat to be considered healthy. Which I know sounds crazy. We've been told our entire...
Right, it's interesting because she has these like devil's advocate characters that are basically like, the dissenting opinions, the judgmental opinions, whatever. And then Think Before You Sleep basically embodies them a little bit. But yeah, let's sorry, somebody just donated. Let's go. Calories in, calories out is cool, but macros are pretty important too if you are really wanting weight loss. Yeah, I agree. Or muscle growth. Yeah, facts. Yeah, I mean, did somebody bonk my head or did I hallucinate that? Oh shit, that might have been in the video. Losing weight is even weirder when on medication. Facts. I remember being at a healthy weight until I started SSRIs, and it fucked with my metabolism hard. Yeah, that's that's just an unfortunate fucking reality. Like, bro. Yeah, it's tough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, medication can really fuck with your, the way that your body behaves or whatever. It can make things unpredictable, whatever. But obviously, in certain cases, you just gotta take the medication. So, yeah, I definitely empathize for people who, especially again, if you have like other fucking underlying like health issues, whatever. It's fucking tough to lose weight. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if that's your goal, you should try and see it through, right? In the case of this woman, she did basically 3 months, it seems like, of pretty, at least she's claiming, right? Like pretty extensive working out. She tried dieting according to, the diet that her, what was it, personal trainer advised, or dietitian maybe. I'm not sure. I doubt it though. And yeah, I mean, she didn't see like weight loss, but she tried it and she realized she just felt better doing like general activities, whatever. Kyle, thank you again. When I came back from the hospital, I was on meds that affected my appetite, and boy, did that lead me to a depressing journey for a little while. Yeah, bro. Yeah, this is kind of fucking facts. Medication can destroy or like amplify, like it can fuck with your diet. And as well, another one that we got to mention is like recreational drugs too. They can fuck with your appetite, right? Like obviously everyone knows more or less, like if you smoke a lot of weed, you're gonna get munchies probably or whatever, right? Like it'll be harder to fucking not cave to the desires, whatever. XD lol. I sometimes touch myself when I see that you're streaming. Fuck you. Fuck you. Somebody fucking ban that guy. No, I'm just kidding. Fuck you though. I need to not read the chat messages out loud. Anyway, yeah, let's let the rest of her. So wait up. Right. So okay, I wanted to talk about the body neutrality thing. So basically, the idea is you unprogram yourself to view, thinness is good, like chubbiness is bad, whatever. I think that's kind of fine. At the end of the day, though, like, if you are unhealthily fat, right? If it's impeding your life, obviously you kind of have to take care of that, right? Or at the very least, try to. But yeah. See, okay. This is the big thing. What needs to be understood, right, is that a lot of the body positivity movement is a reaction, okay? It is a reaction to the fucking pretty insane standards that were in place during the 90s, right? That's just facts. So, during the 90s, bro, like, literally being a stick was desirable, right? It was total model culture, whatever. You want to be tall and thin as fuck, like a literal rail. If you're a woman, obviously. And, bro, I'm not going to cap. Like, women in the 90s, they ran the gauntlet, okay? And so now a lot of the fat acceptance stuff that you're seeing is literally just a reaction to bulimia, anorexia that was fucking pervasive as fuck among women in the 90s. And so, yeah, sometimes it can be overboard. It's like, okay, well, if you're obese, that's not a good thing, whatever. I am not as quick to adopt the frame of like, you gotta be skinny if you're a girl. I'm more of a fan of the muscle mommies, bro. I like that shit. I think that's cool. But anyway, let's get into this fucking video.
Entire lives that you can't be healthy if you're fat. Yet, here I am, at the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life, categorically overweight and well within middle school mocking range, but also the healthiest I've ever been, according to multiple doctors. Now,
so this is where Think Before You Sleep has a bit of a problem. He goes into like what the fuck doctors, and he basically digs into some of her sources.
This conclusion wasn't easy for me. I had a lot of unrealistic and frankly problematic ideas about health to unpack and reprioritize in my brain. But it was around this time I revisited a podcast I hadn't listened to in a while. The show is called Maintenance Phase, and it's hosted by Aubrey Gordon and Michael Hobbs. Each episode, they go over diet trends and fads, the history, the myths, the biases, and they offer their personal insight and humor.
What does that comment say? Motherfuckers be like, fat acceptance is an industry, then completely forget about the fashion industry. It's fucking facts, but anyway.
On how to be kinder to yourself in the wake of diet culture. This isn't sponsored, I just love this podcast. I've been a Patreon supporter for a long time now, and I say this because they have really helped me reconsider what it means to be healthy, and I can't thank them enough for it. One thing I learned from them that has stuck with me is the idea of body neutrality. Body neutrality is the idea of taking a neutral stance on how we look. Not bullying ourselves for what we think we should change, but also not worshiping the parts of ourselves that do align with diet culture. This way of thinking challenges us to look in the mirror and say, yep, that's my body, and finally celebrate its existence for what it can do, not for how it looks. And when it comes to food, that same logic should apply. A carrot isn't an inherent good food, while chocolate is an inherent bad food. Food is just food, no matter how.
Okay. This is the part, I think that honestly, this is the reason that Think Before You Sleep made his video, was that statement right there. Now I'm just gonna let her finish it.
How many calories, carbs, sugars, whatever is in it. Unless you have life-threatening allergies or dietary restrictions to follow, you should feel free to eat whatever food you want to without beating yourself up about it. Oh great, now she's glorifying obesity. I'm not glorifying anything.
See, it's fucking hilarious because the devil's advocate comes in and says exactly what Think Before You Sleep ends up saying, you know what I mean? I like how she chucks the marshmallow at the devil too. Look at this, it's so cute.
Oh great, now she's glorifying obesity. I'm not glorifying anything. My point is simple. Don't be a d- to fat people. And don't use, I just care about their health, as
just in, asterisks here. Not how my harassment negatively impacts their mental health, of course. Right. So she's basically quickly addressing like concern trolling or whatever, when people pretend that they give a fuck as a way to legitimize them just shitting on someone, give it whatever, being a dickhead. And she's basically saying you care about their health, but you don't care about the health consequences that come with, the mental health, whatever consequences that come with being shit on for being fat, whatever. At the end of the day, look, I was not really raised with this fucking like kind of acceptance or safe space kind of mindset, but I do think there is legitimacy to this, right? Like, so how do I put this? Okay, there is a point where reminding someone or telling someone or really laying on thick that someone's fucking, fat or that they have health problems can just be detrimental, right? Like you literally, it's almost like you, every time a conversation comes up or like you see them or whatever, you're like stamping the impression. It's like you're stamping on them like an identity, right? It's like, you're fucking fat, you're fucking fat, you're fucking fat, right? And even if, the claim is that you want them to just get healthier, it's pretty easy for people. Again, it really depends, but it's like the way that you go about encouraging or discouraging whatever people it really depends on the person, right? Like it can really fuck with their head. It can really give them a complex, whatever you would say. And I mean, look, there is totally this like guys who or people who were fat and then got skinny. They definitely have like a very different kind of frame of reference for weight and all this stuff. It definitely has an impact on your mindset. But yeah, anyway, let's keep going. Just be gym buddies with your fellow fat friend if they really want to lose weight. Arguing to the extreme. Do you know anyone who does that though? I know some real jerks, they do that. They don't do that. No, I totally do. Zombie bomb? Bro, I totally do. But it's fine. Like, look, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't know how it works with women. I don't know how vicious women are to other women, whatever. But, look, I know people who just want to knock you down a peg, and they will use kind of like a legitimate criticism or whatever and just fucking bash you over the head with it. And in my experience, from what I've observed, that doesn't actually usually work, especially for the type of person who would get fat, right? If that makes any sense. Because you need to understand, right? And we're talking morbidly obese, all right? You got to understand that these, like, if you're getting morbidly obese, there's a lot that goes into that, and a big part of it is kind of like it's a cope. You know what I mean? Like, totally. The food consuming, it's a fucking cope for you to, deal with your reality, whatever. And so, absolutely, it is important to outline whatever, to accept that it's a cope, right? That it's like something that helps you from fucking confronting, your demons, whatever you would say. But basically, when you provide like discouraging fucking words or whatever, I don't know, sometimes that can just make people lean on their copes even harder, if that makes any sense, right? Like right, because this is, it's tough, right? Because Think Before You Sleep cites a fucking, I don't know, we'll get into it, but he cites something that basically says, well, you don't want social proof, right? Which basically means you do not want to accept this as normal, because then more people will treat it as if it's normal. In my mind, it's like, if you constantly are telling someone this thing about you is just not okay, it's fucking gross, it's unhealthy, whatever. There's many ways that this can fucking boggle around in someone's head. Yes, in some cases, people will be like, fuck you, I'm gonna fix it, okay? Or they'll just take the advice and they'll do it, whatever. But in a lot of cases, it'll just start to have a fucking mental spiral, right? And they can turn in on themselves, start to fucking hate themselves, start to fucking have like a negative self-perception, right? And at the end of the day, what is like one of the most important things in my mind in life? It's mindset, right? It kind of is, right? Like, if you're a glass half empty type of person, I mean, a lot of the times it will be like a self-fulfilling prophecy, Sometimes in life you have to be delusionally optimistic, right? And to change, especially if you're like 25 and you're morbidly obese, whatever, to change like that fucking thought pattern in your head, right? Because this is like shit that was probably laid into you from an early ass age, right? Like, look, here's the sad thing about morbid obesity, okay? A lot of the times it starts with your fucking parents, okay? And again, I have friends who are morbidly obese, their fucking families morbidly obese, whatever. And like, the level of cope that, is developed basically from neglect, right? Like, this is a friend of mine, whatever, his parents, love him, whatever, but they never ever enforced like a decent diet, whatever you would say, right? Like as in they actually just ate like shit and drank soda, you know what I mean? And that's not me really shitting on him, it's just kind of a fact. Like, these kinds of habits, they need to be developed like slowly, right? And they need to be like, there needs to be a positive fucking encouragement a lot of the time. If you're gonna drag someone out of the fucking abyss, bro, it's work. You know what I mean? It's fucking work. Like, it's so easy to relapse. That's what you need to understand. Like, it's, bro, when you've been drinking a fucking 2 liter of Coke since you were fucking 12, you know how easy it is to relapse? It's so cheap. It's fucking available everywhere. It's fucking easy to relapse. So, I'm always of the mindset where it's like, accountability, number one, you want to be someone who can hold the person accountable, whatever, but also just positive reinforcement, right? Like, positive fucking reinforcement, make it as easy as possible just to get them out of like the worst stages of it. Because, man, there's like, bro, I don't know, there's levels to it, but it's like you can get, I don't know, there's levels of cope that are so hard to fucking recover from, bro. Anyway, I'm relatively skinny and grew up with parents that were very image focused. I have a very fast metabolism, don't have food addiction. I can lose weight easily, and I even have body issues. Even I have. Yeah, that's facts. My sister is morbidly obese, but she uses food to address her symptoms and never addresses her trauma. That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, look, like, it's one of these things, right, where it's like, the food, the eating, you can tell a fat person, whatever, morbidly obese, like a pathologically, what do you say, gorge eater, whatever. You can tell them all fucking day, eating that much is bad for you, you're gonna die. You can tell a smoker, someone addicted to smoking, smoking's bad for you, you're gonna get lung cancer, you're gonna die. You can tell a homeless guy, take a shower, buddy, go to fucking get a job, whatever. You can tell these people whatever. You can fucking instruct people on what the correct thing is to do, but at the end of the day, it's like, that's not the real fucking problem, you know? These are often just symptoms of the other fucking problems that they want to be distracted from in their life, you know? Yeah, it's tough. That's why, I mean, I understand where this woman's coming from, because it's like, when it comes to just like a general chubbiness, look, having like a relatively like a higher range BMI, being in like the healthy to high BMI range, bro, that is not unhealthy. Like, it's not in a grand way, it's not really going to affect your life that negatively. In fact, I mean, being like at a fucking 8% body fat for a guy, that shit's probably more unhealthy than having a little thickness, you know? And so, yeah, we're going to continue watching this because I'm fucking yapaholic right now, but she's basically going to say what I'm saying.
As an excuse. Being fat doesn't automatically mean someone is less healthy or too lazy to look like you or however you think they should look. You don't know these people.
But what if they're not healthy?
Even if you've stalked this person to somehow come to that conclusion, you're still not allowed to be a to them.
Ugh, okay.
Look, she's using language that's like, you're not allowed to be a dick to them. And it's like, yeah, you can be a dick to them. Actually, you totally can. The question I would pose to you is not can you or can't you, because you can. You can totally be a dick to anybody you meet. You can. The question is more, what do you actually want from this person? Do you actually want them to improve? Because if that's the answer, then yeah, I mean, usually being a dick to them isn't really going to, affect them positively, right? You want to be empathetic, but you don't want to give in to their copes. Does that make sense? It's tough, bro, because it is, to a degree, it is like a mental fucking illness or a pathology, you know what I mean? And when you're dealing with those kinds of things, bro, it's so fucking tough to break the cycle. But at the end of the day, you want to empathize, you want to set a good example, right? Lead by example. But you also don't want to feed into their copes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to allow them to lie to themselves, right? That's pretty much what I mean. Like, in this case, is she lying to herself? I don't really get the vibe that she's lying to herself. It's more like she's kind of acknowledging the reality, which is like, whatever, I'm going to be a little bit thick and I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to do some light exercise and I'm just going to, not make, being fit, trying to lose weight a part of my fucking lifestyle. I don't really think that's a cope. I feel like she's kind of accepting the reality, you know what I mean? But anyway.
Or stalk people. Bad devil's advocate. Now, maybe this all sounds stupid to you. Maybe you don't need...
Michael Kuhn. Explain. Expand. What am I downloading? What the fuck am I downloading? Michael Kuhn, expand. What's going on? Oh shit, oh fuck, my internet's dying? No. Bruh. My internet's fucking lagging, okay. Yikes. Oh well, the show must go on. I'm sorry. It's good. It's good. Lag, buffer. I thought it was me. Shit. Bruh. Fucking hell. Okay, wait. I gotta fix. Watch the rest of our video and fuck yourself. I'm gonna fix this.
Need body neutrality to mend your relationship with food or weight. But I do. Because frankly, I'm sick of crying in dressing rooms. I'm sick of getting mad at myself for eating a french fry. I'm sick of seeing other girls and wishing I looked like them. I'm sick of hating my body and feeling like a prisoner in my own skin because that is what's truly unhealthy. No matter how skinny or fat you are, holding yourself to the expectations of diet culture is not healthy or sustainable. And I don't know about you, but I can't keep living like this. I don't want to be afraid or angry or sad about how my body looks. Mirrors were made to just show us our reflection, not to be a weapon of self-destruction. So when I look in the mirror and I start to pick on myself the same way those middle school girls did, I try to remind myself of what really matters. That my legs can sit me down next to the people I love, my arms can hold them and hug them, my face can squish exactly how it needs to so I can smile. And my body can be draped in any clothing, and my silhouette can be any shape or size. And I must throw away what all the mean girls and the media made me believe about myself based solely on how much I weigh. Because us fat kids, we knew back then there was so much more to a person than how they looked. We knew that before anyone else did. So why should we forget that? Thank you for watching my video.
Okie dokie. Woman moment. Yeah. Yeah, this kind of a mindset is certainly more acceptable among women, that's true. But to be fair, bro, like, bro, historically or whatever you would say, women, bro, they got fucking put through the ringer in terms of like expectation, body weight, all this shit. Like, again, it's a reaction, bro. But anyway, okay, hopefully this should have fixed the internet problem. The best way to make personal progress is to not set yourself to the standard of others and instead strive through self-improvement and being better than the past you. Hell yeah, Grays, I like what you're saying. Here's what I'll say, okay? Just because I've now started yapping like a fucking moron about all this, let me just put some final fucking words to this with the fat thing or whatever. So, what she's describing at the end there with, basically facing the mirror, right? This is a motto of my channel and a lot of my content is basically confront who you are. Do not shy away. Do not cower in the face of reality of who you are, whatever. The message she's basically saying is like, don't be afraid of the mirror. Look at the mirror, see yourself for what you are, and try to accept yourself as you are, right? Now, obviously, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but she would probably agree. If your life is being impacted in a negative way due to your weight, you should try to lose the fucking weight, right? But I kind of like what she's saying, which is basically like, accept the reality of who you are and try to like accept that. The implication though that she's giving is obviously like settle, and I don't know if I would agree with settling. But yeah, the big thing is, if we're talking about facing the mirror, why is it so hard to face the mirror, right? Like, what does this even mean? So, okay, in my mind, all right, facing the mirror is a very Lacanian, psychoanalytic kind of concept, right? Now, I just introduced Lacan. What? What does that even fucking mean? Okay. So basically, according to, psychoanalyst Lacan, who built off of Freud's theories, all right, Where should I even start? Let's talk about the real, okay? So, in this video, right, this Illy animation woman, she refers to a diet plan that is very, what's the word? Triggering? I believe she says triggering, yeah. She has a diet plan that was triggering. There's a lot of problematic things. Basically, she definitely seems to come from, a land of the internet where the concept of having a safe space, right, being protected or isolated from confrontations with the real, basically just confrontations with, people being harsh or people being dickheads, is limited, okay? Now, I just brought this word in, the real. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, so trauma, right? When you think of trauma, what do you think of? When you think of a disruptive event, what do you think of? I'll give you an example, a really easy one to understand. You get hit by a fucking car, okay? You got hit by a car. That's traumatic. Literally, in like a, medical sense, like you're fucking busted, probably. But it's also traumatic psychologically, okay? And this is where we get into the psychoanalytic, fucking frame, which is basically, again, this is according to Lacan, but your reality, okay, is not objective. The way you interface with the world, the way you see it, not objective. It's your reality. Now, what builds your reality? What the fuck is it? You know what I mean? Yes, okay, your senses, whatever. Basically, Lacan argues there's two things that build or, construct your reality. That is the imaginary and the symbolic, okay? Now, the symbolic is signs, it's images, what you can see, your senses, etc. If you see a stop sign, you know to stop. That's the symbolic, right? If you see fucking, I don't know, someone with a fucking knife in the dark, that's a symbol. You register it, you're like, okay, fuck that, let's leave, whatever. Now, that's the symbolic. The imaginary is kind of like the way that your brain interfaces or like fantasizes, the way that your brain fills in the blanks of your reality and all the symbols that are around you, right? So, the fantasy, it's like, the imaginary, my bad, is kind of what you would describe as like when you daydream, the things, because this is what you need to understand. A lot of people are the main character in their story, right? Like the way that they cope and are able to operate in their reality is by creating a bit of a fantasy, an imaginary, kind of concept in their head of like, yes, my life is progressing to something that means something. You know what I mean? This is all for a reason. There's logic to this. And that makes sense, okay? It's important to have a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of delusion in order to accomplish pretty much anything in this life. Now, once again, just to recap, according to Lacan, the symbolic and the imaginary, this is what creates your reality, okay? And this is, again, your reality is the beautiful little paradise, little home that you create for yourself, that you live in 99% of the time. You are perceiving your own little reality that you've constructed, again, based on what you are interfacing with in the world, the symbolic, and what you are filling in the blanks on, your imaginary. What's the real? That little home that you created that keeps you safe, makes you feel like everything is leading towards something meaningful? Oops, you got hit by a car. That stop sign, it was meant to, the car's supposed to stop, but he didn't. The symbolic order failed you, whatever. And as a result, that reality that you constructed with your imaginary and your symbolic collapsed. Okay? And that, what is that feeling? Have you ever experienced this? The answer is yes, you have. Now, some people experience it more than others. Some people experience it deeper than others. Some people experience it longer than others. But what that is a pretty fucking true confrontation with the real, okay? It doesn't need to be a car crash. It can be some fucking traumatic micro event, okay? It can be finding out that your girlfriend or your parents are cheating on each other, okay? It's something that basically disrupts the narrative, the world, the reality that you've created for yourself. That is the real. Now, what is the real scary part of this? The scary part is that when your little house that you've created gets destroyed, what's left? What is left? Nothing. That's why it's so fucking scary. Because when you lose your reality, right? And I say lose, when your reality is disrupted, is the way that I put it. Because the second that a traumatic event occurs, your imaginary order and your symbolic order are scrambling, literally scrambling to rebuild that fucking house. And this is the origin, according to Lacan, basically, of cope. Okay? People who are scared of the abyss, scared of the absence. Again, what's the absence? The real. Because again, this is another part of Lacan's theories. Fundamentally, the human experience is based on lack. It is based on non-existence. It is, and again, this is exemplified perfectly by desire, okay? Like Lacanian desire. Why do you desire things? Duh. Because you lack things, right? You lack something, so you desire it. And then what happens when you achieve it? Oh, fuck, I don't actually want it that much. You look for something else to desire. Because fundamentally, at the end of the day, it's all built on lack. It's built on nothing, right? And so, when you experience trauma, when you face the real, when your symbolic order is disturbed, your symbolic and your imaginary order is disturbed, basically, you get a real confrontation with the fact that, first of all, like complete insecurity, right? Like again, you literally gaze into the fucking abyss that's right below your feet. You realize how fragile your existence is, how little it matters or whatever, what little it means, all this shit. And so people who have had extremely traumatic encounters with the real, right? If you were molested, right? Picture that. Picture that you're 7 years old and someone that you trust, who's an adult, takes advantage of you. There's a moment there where you don't know what's happening. But when it clicks, it's not that you understand immediately. It's that you feel like your fucking like world is just fucking completely rattled. You literally, this is what trauma responses are. It's like fight, flight, or fright or whatever. Fight, what is it? Fight, flight, or fucking, what's the word? Freeze. Okay. When you, like, people are very physiologically aware of when they're confronted with the real, okay? And so, again, when you are confronted with, like, a seriously traumatic experience, you can develop over time, over your life, whatever, a super strong aversion to the real. You can develop a super strong fucking fear of your symbolic and imaginary order collapsing, your reality disappearing, and your insecurity, the truth, oftentimes, of how fragile and meaningless your life is. It does not feel good. It does not feel good, bro. And so again, people develop copes, okay? Copes, whether they're through their imagination, whether they're through the way they interpret the symbolic world, people develop like super strong copes to prevent them from facing the absence, right? Again, if we're talking in the frame of morbidly obese people, right? Again, everyone fucking knows it's not healthy, it's not good, whatever, for longevity to be morbidly obese, okay? But in order to even get to the point where you're morbidly obese, oftentimes you would have needed to develop such an incredible amount of cope to protect yourself from the reality, right? Because if you confronted the real, right? If you kind of like faced the mirror and saw like, holy fuck, man, whew, I need to change something. You probably would have done that well before you were morbidly obese, right? And by the time you're morbidly obese, there's so much like work that would need to be done to undo what has been done. It seems so insurmountable, so fucking terrifying. Literally can feel impossible. Like, think about that, right? Someone tells you, hey buddy, if you keep eating like that, you're going to die. That can be a traumatic thought to internalize, right? So it can be easier for people to totally fall on cope, right? Right? I mean, that makes sense. This is kind of the origin of cope and why I am so anti-cope, okay? Because, look, this is kind of my life philosophy. When I say face the mirror, what I'm basically saying is try to not cower from the real, right? When something is a cope, right? When you are using something to cope with your reality, acknowledge it at least, okay? It can be hard too, because, you know, it's just, nobody wants to admit that they're doing something that's going to kill them or whatever, you know what I mean? And there's levels to this shit too, right? Like, it's easy for me to fucking say it. There's way worse cases, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're not going to fix a problem that you don't acknowledge is a problem. Does that make sense? There's two requirements in my mind to actually trying to fix a problem, okay? Number one is acknowledging that there is a fucking problem, right? Which people can try and hide from through cope, right? And number two is actually wanting to solve the problem, right? Because a lot of people don't actually want to solve their problems, you know? I don't know if that makes total sense, but I'm sure you get what I mean. You can't fix somebody else's problems a lot of the time, you know what I mean? Like, if you've ever dealt with someone who's got an addiction problem or whatever, at the end of the day, you can only do so much. At the end of the day, they need to want to fucking quit, right? And yeah, man, cope is a very fucking powerful drug, okay? Brand new Gokanaru merch, Goka merch, drip, okay? We got the black Escaped t-shirt. I honestly love this t-shirt. Only available at gokamerch.com, okay? Designed by SB, same guy who designed Turkey Tom's merch, fucking Fish Tanks merch, genuine goated individual. We've got these fucking awesome hats. I'm just very happy, bro, because I keep getting samples for the damn merch, and I'm like, sheesh, this is drip. This is straight up drip. Okay, I'm advertising it poorly. But boom, the Puppet Master, fucking Bad Faith hat, which looks really good, and you should purchase that one. I like it a lot. Boom, this one's a prototype. The well-programmed NPC hat, and boom, the poorly programmed NPC hat. Beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, this one's the banger, okay? You buy that shit, certified goated. Anyway. Alright, and we have the NPC beanie. Hi. I like this one a lot, to be honest. I like that color. Olive green! Alright. And then, it's now kind of summertime, but I've been rocking the Escape fucking hoodie. Okay? Very big fan of this design. Very cool. Obviously based on the Sneeko video. But yeah. Looks sick. Is available right now. Gokamerch.com. We got Eternal Beauty right here.
Shut up, Gokanaru. The real thing you should be advertising is our brand new Hubert NPCs. Did you enjoy the Sneeko video? Do you desire the love and companionship that comes with owning a Hubert of your own? Well, then you should head to Gokamerch.com and sign up for the email list. It's easy. Just take a look at one of our satisfied customers.
You open it.
Oh! Oh, that's hard. A little bite! Wow, look at that smile. Making a friend has never been easier with our new Hubert NPCs. Sign up to the Gokamerch.com email list today so that you'll be the first to be notified when Huberts go on sale. Only a limited quantity will be sold.
So sign up.